Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. And to Yahawah that's also listening. Barak the Yahawah, Barak the Yahawashi, bahasham, quadash, atham. So, out here another week, prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great, also known as America, Basra in the scriptures, and many other names. Because this final kingdom is the one kingdom that will be established in the latter days, and has been around for the last 300 or 400 years. And yet it's had more wars than any other place, especially if you look at the history of the last 2,000 years. This place, Babylon, leading, has had more wars. This second leg of the Roman Empire, because that's what Babylon is, Babylon leading, the whore leading. But then, as you get to the latter end of it, the nations that were once with her, having her lead, would turn on her. And you're starting to see the UK break away, and you're starting to see Germany break away, And these were ones that were once attacked by the US. Of course, you got your so-called War of Independence, right? When the US broke off from the UK. So you have that war, and then you got, World War II. So, it'd be a while, and then next thing you know, the New World Order would be established with Babylon leading, after World War II. And it's been that way for a while, but now they're looking for a new leader. Even Francis declared they need a better world leader. They really don't want the U.S. Representing, so they're now turning towards Magog, And yes, even these EU places are even starting to purchase the S400 and S500 systems. Germany has back deals going with Magog. So Magog's been a guard now onto them too. Just like they are back there in the Middle East, which you notice that, yes, it is like what we said, that this thing would die down, and that it would quickly disappear, this whole, assassination thing, because of course it's just not time yet, but prophecy will come out before the final blow. A lot of people think that, World War III is going to happen, and that's the end of it. But that's not true. The mark of the beast has to be made mandatory. And you can see, though, that everything's pulling towards a cashless society. Chris Green is out there talking about how you can make tons of money with a Bitcoin system. Yeah, that's a whole frequency. Amazon now wants to make your hand a credit card. What's that talking about? Mark in your right hand or in your forehead. So they want to turn your hand into a credit card. A lot of people can buy into this because it's the new popular way to shop, They like to show you in that commercial where the guy, it looks like he's stealing everything, but he's not. It's already on his hand, and he just walks right out. He just walks right in the store, grabs everything, and leaves. Because it's all in his hand, pretty much. And that's what they want to do, is track everything. That's why they started with the UPC barcodes, I mean, this is just common knowledge why they put UPC barcodes, and you can't buy, sell, or trade without that. Almost everything has it, with the exception of yard sales and stuff, which they try to get away from that. Because you notice, though, that, if you make too much money at a yard sale, that Esau comes up and they're like, do you have a license to sell this? Like kids selling lemonade and shit, then the fucking cops will fucking hassle them. Well, you got to have legal documentation. Which, of course, that only happens to Jake, because Edomites sell lemonade all the time. But if you're a Jake kid, they even show you that in that show Shameless, that happened because Jake was selling lemonade. And this Edomite who hates, our kind, basically, had put up a fight. And then Fiona gets into a fight, if you watch that show. Nonetheless, though, that's what happens, though. Anything that they can't regulate, And that's just it. They really want to regulate us, but they'll chip their own. Of course, people chip their pets like it ain't nothing. So these animals are suffering because of Esau. Of course, because the only way for a pet to even be adopted, in which I feel bad that they have to be adopted by a goddamn Edomite that's just going to leave their dog outside anyways. You see that shit all the time, man. Fucking, they'll leave them outside all night long in fucking weather like this. No shelter whatsoever, man. You'd like to fucking put them out, but you can't do anything because you're still in Babylon, And you try to turn them in and all that, they don't do anything to them. But if you're a Jake and all that, next thing you know, you got warnings. Yeah, say you go to Walmart, you know, and you got your windows rolled down and all that. Fucking next thing you know, you got something on the fucking announcement saying that you left your dog in here. Yeah, I've had that happen to me a few times. Because you see, Esau wants to regulate everything. He mostly wants to police you. He doesn't really police his own because, of course, you know, like everything else, though, you know, they just, you know, if you're an Edomite, man, they just slap you on the wrist and let you go. If you're a Jake, and they know who the Israelite foreigners are, too. You think they don't watch these videos? You don't think these secret societies that run, a.k.a. the Freemasons, don't see what we're doing out here? So they know who you are. You know, if you think that you can hide by being an Israelite foreigner, you think you can be camouflaged because you look like them, doesn't work. No, you catch hell too, because you can't get away from the curses of Deuteronomy 28. They're here, you know, and so it's never been about looks, you know, because I don't look like your typical Israelite. Well, I take that back. We're all Israelite foreigners in essence, because you go to the camps, man, you got Israelite foreigners there that look like me. Some look different. Some even look Japanese, you know. Some even look, you know, Korean, you know. Of course, we've been in every nation that there is, man. You know, and all the wars and all that. This is why this empire was never brought down. You know, even the Vietnam War, man, Jake was in that shit. You know, you had Jakes in every unit that there is. They were in the German army too. You know, they don't like to tell you that because they want you to believe that Adolf Hitler was a racist and that he hated everything except for the Aryan race. And you find out that's nothing more than propaganda by Amalek, who, by the way, that's what Adolf Hitler was Amalek. He was actually a Rothschild, but of course, you know, they change their surname all the time to hide their identity. You know, because Rothschild really means red child. And the funny thing about that, though, is before that, they were the Borgias. And it was Leonardo da Vinci that decided, well, we'll just make the image of the Son of the Most High to look like ourselves, because we've conquered this area back. We've taken this area back, so we're just going to make them believe that it's us, that we're the gods of the earth. And on a technicality, yeah, this world was given into the hands of the wicked. So they were the gods of the earth. However, though, where it became blasphemy is where they said that they were the Son of the Most High, and that, you know, you watch a movie, man, Esau's playing all parts. You know, even the Egyptians, man, they can't even let the Egyptians be the Egyptians, man. You know, you got an Edomite, Elizabeth Taylor, playing Cleopatra. You know, so you're under this false image that, you know, the Egyptians were pale skinned too. You know, and that they didn't have dark skin, even though it doesn't match. Even Ishmael has darker skin than Elizabeth Taylor. But you see, that's just it, though. Esau, you know, he likes to create a false image because he does not like to reveal that, yeah, he's Esau. You know, he calls himself everything else. You know, he likes to call himself white to make you think that he's righteous, you know, because they'll call themselves the saints. Fuck. They have a pagan holiday called All Saints Day, you know, to make you believe that. Make you think that these Roman Catholics are the saints, when the saints are Israelites. Israelites that have come to repentance and no longer wear the shame, you know, no longer have a shameful face, you know. So, a lot of things are happening now. Plagues are coming upon this place, and did it not speak of plagues that would be coming upon this place? This new virus that's coming out of China that's now, you know, entered over here. It kind of reminds me, you know, of a lot of other things, you know. Nonetheless, though, these places are cursed, you know, because the Most High is cursing this place, and it's to punish the wicked. And of course, Esau's the sword. We know that Esau's manufactured this, of course, because, you know, there's a trade war. And these are all proxies, by the way. These leaders, Freemasons, they all play the game of Risk in their secret compartments, and then they decide what they're going to do. Yes, Bashar al-Assad and Vladimir Putin are also Freemasons too, run by the secret societies, and they decide the fate. Because in order to be a world leader, you have to be sworn into the society. They select presidents. They select leaders, you know. And pretty much, man, everyone else is expendable. I know that things look a lot better because I've often said it that Bashar al-Assad is a better leader. Well, of course he is, duh. At least the people are with him. Same thing with Muammar Gaddafi. He was a better leader. The people are with him. Well, that's just it, though. When you get to be a well-respected leader and all that, that's when they decide that they want to remove you, you know? And that's what's happening with Syria. They want to remove him from power because, of course, you know, the Zionists, Amalek, want full control of the region, and Syria's in the way of that. Of course, they wanted to run that pipeline through Gomer. Well, that didn't work out so good. Gomer and all his bands are now looking to run that pipeline on through Libya to try and grab all Libya because they've been losing to the Syrian Arab army there. So they've been moving their terrorists into Libya, aka the Libyan National Army. And if you hadn't noticed, though, that they have the eagle making it look like it's the Syrian Arab army, you know, because that's what they did, is they called the name the Libyan National Army. So you're thinking, okay, well, these are the good guys, you know. Nah, man. It's Gomer and all his bands still trying to seize all the oil because they want that pipeline. They want that old deal that they were supposed to get. So they're just going to find another way of getting it, you know, which is why they've been breaking away from the whore, Babylon the Great. You know, they were one of the first to break away because the U.S. did not support them when the jet was shot down. You know, when they shut down the Russian jet and then America didn't back them. Because, of course, America ain't going to back them. You know, America doesn't back anybody except terrorist groups like ISIS. ISIS is a proxy. You know, why would Ishmael call themselves the Queen of Heaven to begin with, okay? That's how much of a hoax this whole ISIS thing is, you know. I'm not saying the group doesn't exist. I'm just saying that it's not Ishmael that's doing it. Nah, man, this whole thing was doctored by Gomer and all his bands. And, of course, and when I say all his bands, that includes Saudi Arabia, where most of them are coming from. ISIS is nothing more than an Edomite supremacy group that pretty much, you know, just came up with false narratives and all that so they could control the narrative of Syria, so they could act like they're the G.I. Joe hero coming to save Syria, when in fact they're the ones that are supporting these terrorist groups, which is why they carry out the assassination of Ben Salem. So anyhow, you know, you got all that going on, and of course the big thing is they're trying to shut down our channels, you know. Like I said, I tried to go to the LA camp when they just put up a video like this. I went to go play it, and it was already down within minutes of it even getting uploaded. So-called hate speech, right? And what is hate speech? It means to not like something, right? Because you don't like something, so, you know, you're deemed as hate speech, you know. To speak against this government, to speak against the whore Babylon the Great is considered hate speech. Well, we're going to continue doing it because we're speaking prophecy. When we come out here and we are no longer in our dead state, which is where I'm going to read from, Revelation chapter 11, and this is coming. Jacob's trouble is here. So you know that this word has gone out, and as Apostle Tahar has said it on numerous occasions, we believe the elect are sealed. That's why these prophecies are being unveiled. Revelation 11, verse 7. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. And we can see that, though, you know. They're taking down our channels. That's just the beginning of this. But they're going to, you know, with the martial law and all that, they're going to continue to take us down, you know. Pretty much, man, the moment we get a video up there, they're going to take it down. But then they're also going to try to find ways to arrest us, you know, because, you know, within the next few minutes, though, I'm pretty sure I'm going to see a squad car. They're just making sure that I ain't doing anything illegal. I'm not disturbing anybody. Nobody's come up here. You know, no, I'm just trying to edify the elect and those that will hear me within the city, you know. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. And how was our Lord crucified? Well, I just talked about it earlier. You know, pretty much then they changed the image to look like theirs. Leonardo da Vinci, and they made the image of the Most High to look like theirs, which is the Borgias, which is now currently the Rothschilds. And we know that Caesar Borgia is in the reincarnation as Jacob Rothschild. Or not Jacob Rothschild, but David Rothschild, you know. And so we know that they painted their image to make it look like them so that they would be worshipped, so that all that would be called with that. And we were in this dead state. Christianity, right? We were supposed to love all our enemies, and we've been blindsided by Christianity for so long. So we were spiritually dead. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half. Which, that lasted all the way up to 1970. And then, what had happened? Well, here we go. And they shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they shall dwell upon the earth, shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. Yeah, this thing torments them, And that's what we were doing before, when we was in the dead, before we got to the dead state. They were so happy that we was taken down, All these nations. You read Psalm 83, all these nations, which are now being attacked by Amalek, because Amalek is mentioned as well as Esau, Edom. So why was Amalek even separated from it? Isn't that Esau too? Yeah, but Amalek is so wicked, man. They're despised among Edom too. Because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And after the 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahawah entered into them. And that's when 1970 came up. And then this word started to come out. It started to come out. So the spirit of life had entered into them. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And this fear has been happening for some time. Now, from 1970 all the way up to now, 2020, so that's about 50 years in the making, this is scaring them because it's now common knowledge. The secret of the secret societies is out there. They can't hide behind these lodges anymore. Everybody knows about it. The word Illuminati is out there. They don't just, they have to put it out there now because everybody knows. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And that happens once we are called out of this. Once we have finished our testimony, then, the mark of the beast is going to be made mandatory. That's where the test comes in. You see, because the beast shall make war against us, overcome us, and kill us. A lot of us are going to die resisting that mark. But we won't be tempted to take that mark. And don't forget, the Most High also promised us that He will keep thee from the hour of temptation. So we aren't going to be tempted to take that mark. Will there be pressure? Absolutely. We're going to lose in this thing. We're going to lose a lot, man. There's brothers you can talk to, man. They've lost everything. Just like this downsize, man. I went from a 2-bedroom duplex to a 2-bedroom apartment. So most of the things I had from the 4-bedroom house, I've had to get rid of. That's just one of those things. And there's other brothers that have been through more. Had to get rid of their car. Had to get rid of a lot of things just to do this. So yeah, it's a sacrifice. But we don't grow weary, man. Because we know that's just all a part of it. Because this whole place is about to be destroyed anyway. So why would you want to take spoils from here? Why would you even want to try to make it here? Yes, you're trying to make it in the essence of, you need food, you need clothing, you need shelter. Yes, you need those things. But why would you try to make it here? Think, oh, well, I'm going to settle down, I'm going to get a really nice place, and then I'm just going to live like a king. We're not the kings as of yet. This transference hasn't happened. See, first you got to cut it as a prophet. If you can't cut it as a prophet, how is Yahawashi going to make you one of the kings of the earth? See, first level, prophesy. You got to be a prophet. You got to be out there to prophesy, and not be lukewarm about that. Be very sincere. The Most High knows who's sincere. Yes, things will come along like a computer virus and all that, but you still do what you try to do to get that word out there, And Esau, if he can't take down your channel, because he can't find any charges, to give you hate speech or copyright infraction, right? I haven't gotten that one in a while, but you know how it is. You take a news clip and all that, and it happens to be NBC or CNN or whatever. That's why you got to be very careful about that, So, you just take a freeze frame image and then you just talk over it, So that they can't get charges on you that way. Nah, man, they're going to use things like CC Cleaner to download viruses to your computer. So that way your computer's slowed down so this word won't get out there. Because this word is hurting Esau. Seeing us on our 2 feet, coming out here and repenting, telling our people to stop celebrating these feast days with Esau and to get back to righteousness, which righteousness means doing the right things, means being separate from the rest of the world and what they're doing. It ain't party time. It's time to come out here and prophesy repentance. Repentance. Be back to what you once were. Come back to your heritage. Oh Yahawah. That's what you're supposed to be doing. That's what we're teaching. And Esau knows that once we do that, that's when he knows that his kingdom's just about up. And you can see him losing his power. Look at all these nations breaking away from the whore, Babylon the Great. Look at the losing numbers, man. You think Iran would have been able to do that without repercussions, you know? No, man. Back then. Because everybody was afraid of the U.S. They ain't afraid now. Nope. They retaliated, and they said any other further escalations will lead to their demolish. Because, you know, far be it, no, Iran is not a third world country. They have the largest navy of any, they have a larger navy than Russia. Okay, they have the largest navy in the world, in the Persian Gulf there. You know, and not to mention, you think that the Syrians stand by their leader. I know it looks like that they don't, but the Syrian people are with Bashar al-Assad. You know, and the Persians, Elam, man, they're really with their leader, Ayatollah Khomeini, you know, and with Rouhani. They stand 100% with him, man. You know, you think these people stand with Trump? No, man, half the people hate Trump, you know, and, you know, it's kind of funny because then the other half support Trump, so you see support Trump things, and then people say, fuck you, man, you know? Why? Because this place is nothing but a joke. You know, they can't even agree amongst themselves. So Satan be divided amongst Satan. So his kingdom ain't going to last a lot longer because Satan means adversary. And they're adverse to themselves, you know. They're their biggest adversary. Because who's telling on them besides us, the prophets? Their own are telling on them. Man, one of the books that Brother Malcolm reads from, who is Esau Edom, was written by an Edomite. Probably an Amalekite actually wrote that. You know, and told you the truth. That Edom is Rome. And that we're in Rome all over again. You just got the whore, Babylon the Great, leading, but now you're starting to see the countries break away from the whore. Beginning to hate the whore. And so the only thing really left now the hegemony, because everybody knows that the U.S. petrodollar is the leading dollar system. Once they crash that, and it will happen, then they have to come up with a solution, and their solution will be the one world system. They'll come up with it. Well, I mean, what do you think Bitcoin is? So Bitcoin is a thing in the making. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the actual currency, but it's going to be a one world currency. A one world currency where everybody's trading by that, and they'll be trading by hand. Remember, Amazon wants your hand to become the credit card. So that means that there's one international thing, because let's face it, they already have it with the internet. PayPal's in every currency. I hear they even got the Philippines now and Singapore. So PayPal's in every currency, which is one of the payment systems. It's one of the big ones of eBay. And then you got Amazon, you know, which is the other big one. So it's already here. And then Walmart, you know, you go there, you can actually just sit down in the waiting room, you go through the kiosk, and you just pay with your hand. They have it. They've had that for quite some time now. So, you know, it looks like the waiting room of a bus station or an airplane hangar. And eventually they're going to do away with cash. You know that they're breaking away from the cash systems. And, you know, you're going to hear more and more. So, you know, this being the year prophecy, you know, you're going to see a lot more prophecy come to pass with that. Esau started pushing that really hard last year. He's going to push it harder this year, you know. And you're starting to see Libya a lot more in the news. And Gomer and all those bands trying to take that over, because now Gomer is now running the Libyan National Army. Just like they tried to do with Juan Guaido, trying to get him to take over Maduro. But that had failed. And, you know, pretty much Libya, you know, they lost Muammar Gaddafi, but they're trying to take it over because they know that they're in a weakened state since the loss of Muammar Gaddafi. Same thing with Iraq. In fact, Iraq, you know, pretty much what Esau, Amalek, did not want to happen is for Iraq to actually have any friendly Shiite, you know, because, of course, that's Elam. Because, of course, Elam has also been a guard unto all these places. Hezbollah is one fortress that they can't take down. They can't have their way with. Hezbollah, which is an opposition group, is run by Elam. So you got a lot of proxies there too. And of course we know that they play both sides because duh, that's what these higher ups do in their game room, the war room. They decide who goes to war. You know, I highly recommend renting the Skulls movies, but I think that most of us here in the know have already seen those movies, you know, and already know the secrets of the secret societies. But you know, it's always good to refresh. But that's what they do. All these world leaders do, man. They think for you, you know. Everything's encoded, you know, but yet you can decode it, you know, and when you start seeing everything, you can see all the hidden subliminals that are there, you know. And that's why Esau painted his image, you know, the images of the Most High to look like it, you know, the angels to look like Edomites and everything else to just totally take away from the true images, which the angels are going to look like Yahawah and Yahawashi. And you see how Esau made them to look like himself. And then little tiny wings on them, you know. And what did they do when they created Christianity? Christianity is just a mold of Greek mythology and a whole bunch of other things, but they made the images to look like themselves from the Egyptian and Greek gods. So, you know, they couldn't even come up with anything original. They just kind of played around with it because they knew that they wanted the worship to themselves. That's what the Romans did. And Roman is just another key word for Esau, Edom, because Rome is Edom. No doubt about that. So, you know, in the Bible, of course, they worded it the Romans. So that way, you know, oh, okay, well, Edom was done away with. They want you to believe this illusion. Or they want to try to make you think that they're the Arabs, right? Because Arab means mixed race, right? So they try to trick you with that. Just like, you know, the whole Libyan National Army, which we know that that's not the Libyan National Army, that those are terrorist proxies, you know, set up by Gomer and all his bands. And, of course, Esau changed all the names, duh. You know, they're not going to tell on themselves. And that's why it'll never come out who really was behind 9/11. You know, even though they'll say that it's Saudi Arabia, it's a lot more than just that. You know, there was no bin Laden. Bin Laden was just a scapegoat, just like Jihad John and what's that other one? Al-Baghdadi, which they supposedly they killed Al-Baghdadi. It's the same thing. Same thing with that. You know, that's the funny thing, though, is that's another thing that Trump's going to run on, you know, is that, oh, well, he's responsible for bringing down Al-Baghdadi, you know, which was another boogeyman that they had, you know. Just like Barack Obama ran on the idea that he killed bin Laden. But you take a look at the pictures of bin Laden and you can play around with them and you'll be like, that's Barack Obama, guys, that's bin Laden. You know, everybody knows that, you know. That's why they took those videos down, because people started catching on to that. You know, the whole Osama is Obama thing. I mean, listen to Ted Kennedy. Try to find those speeches, man. He just like, excuse me, Osama Obama, you know, and he just, by accident, called him Osama. Well, why don't we just ask Obama bin Laden? They know. You know, it's a slip of the tongue, but their tongue shall fall upon themselves. They tell on themselves. You know, and these aren't really secrets, but you see, that's just it, though. Anything that goes against their narrative is going to be deemed as hate speech. So if they can get you for hate speech, then they can shut down your channel, right? So, of course, you know, you always have backup channels, but this is what we've been doing for years. You know, for a long time, though, we weren't even on YouTube. We was on Daily Motion. I can remember that because I can still find all the old lessons there. And I still have a lot of the stuff backed up on Daily Motion. You know, I have at least 60 to 75 videos, you know, that are on there. You know, so if this channel should get cut down, just look for Israelite Foreigner Reading Daily Motion channel. You know, because it'll be there. And I'm going to see about trying to get on to the other thing, greatmillstone.info, you know, to try to put the videos up that way as well, you know, because eventually we ain't even going to be on YouTube, you know. They are going to shut down YouTube very shortly here. You can see that, especially, you know, with the camps, the LA camp, you know, their video getting taken down. You know, Brother Malcolm was on a second channel. Now he had done that in advance, you know, had created the second channel, but that's just because of the fact that we all know we're prepared for it. Hey, it was Apostle Tahar that told us that maybe we should start seeking Daily Motion and other avenues here. You know, just trying to think in advance, because of course, you know, he's so scared of this word, but this word has already gone out. You know, I have to agree with Apostle Tahar. This word has already gone out. You know, and since this word has gone out, now you know that the beast, along with the whore, shall make war with us, overcome us, and kill us. You know, kill our speech. You gotta remember that's deemed as hate speech, right? So that's part of it too. But you know that the biggest hour of temptation, which we are promised to be kept from, is going to be that mark of the beast. Man, others are going to be getting it because it's going to be the most popular thing to do. But we're going to be resistant of that, you know. And that's just it, though. We're the only ones that have the 100% truth, because we tell you that the mark of the beast is the RFID implant. Christianity and all those other things doesn't make you get a chip in your right hand or forehead. Doesn't want to turn your hand into a credit card. And again, what is the lake of fire? Well, that's what this place is going to become. Babylon the Great is going to burn in flames when the 200 million nuclear missiles come. And that's for all those that took the mark of the beast, most of all. They're joined unto Esau, Edom. You know, so I hope all this has been edifying. Like everything else, though, we're going to proclaim this while we still can. Get it while we still can. For that, I want to say, Barak the Yahawah, Barak the Yahawashi, bahasham, wa abab, barak atham, Jehovah elect. Shalom.